In this video, I'll show you how to solve the ALEKS problem called Estimating the Volume in Liters of a Spherical Object. The title of this problem is a little bit of a lie. It's saying that you're going to be calculating or estimating the volume in liters, but check it out. This problem is asking me to estimate the volume in milliliters. So don't take this literally. It might be asking you to perform your calculation to calculate liters, but it also could be asking you for a derivative of a liter, like a milliliter or a deciliter or a centiliter or a kiloliter or something like that. So this object that we have here is a spherical piece of glassware. This area that's shaded in blue is a sphere. We're going to begin by calculating the volume of this spherical area using the equation for calculating the volume of a sphere. That equation is 4/3 pi r cubed, where r is the radius of the object. We have the diameter of the object given to us in the problem is 23 millimeters. So that means that the radius of the object is half of that. The radius is just half of the diameter, which for this guy is 11.5 millimeters. We're just going to plug that number into this volume equation, 4/3 pi. The radius is 11.5. The unit is millimeter, and that is being cubed. And we're going to set this up on our calculator. 4/3 pi times the radius, 11.5 cubed, gives me a volume of 6,370.6. I'm just going to keep that one decimal place for now. And my unit is cubic millimeter. Now the answer wants, the unit of the answer needs to be milliliter. So my next job is to figure out how to convert cubic millimeters into milliliters. Now one of the things that is not given to you in this problem but is essential for solving this problem is this relationship that 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cubic centimeter. This is the relationship that you're going to use to convert between whatever this unit might be and whatever volume unit you're being asked for. You're going to need to use this conversion factor no matter what derivative of a meter you have here and no matter what derivative of a milliliter you're being asked to use for your answer. So this conversion can be a little bit tricky for my situation, and this is going to vary a little bit based on like what unit you're ending up with here, and also what unit you're actually trying to get to over here. But whatever unit you have, my recommendation is that you start with whatever unit this is and convert it into cubic meters. Now, one possibility is that maybe you are starting with cubic meters, in which case you don't need to do this step. But whatever unit you have, I suggest your first job is to get rid of that metric prefix and convert it into the base unit cubic meters. And then from there, convert it into cubic centimeters. From there, we're going to convert it into milliliters. And then you, depending on what type of answer ALEKS is trying to get out of you, you might need to convert milliliters into liters and then convert into the desired unit for your answer. So this first step is optional based on what unit you're starting with. Maybe you're starting here in the process and carrying on. And then also these last steps are optional as well, because maybe this is the answer that ALEKS wants from you. But if not, you're going to keep going down this path. So you can see there's a lot of unit converting going on here. Now it is going to be handy for you to pull up ALEKS's table of SI prefixes. It's located in this area here. I've got it pulled up on the side for us to reference it because it is a handy table. It's going to give us the relationships between those prefixed units and the metric base units. Okay, so I am going to make myself a little bit of space for this unit conversion because it's going to take quite a bit of space. Stick that right there. And we're going to start by writing the number with the unit that we're starting with. That's the 6,370.6 millimeters cubed. And we are trying to multiply by we're trying to convert that into cubic meters. So we want to multiply it by a conversion factor that is going to cancel out millimeter and convert into meter. Now, if you're thinking about, but what about the cubed part? Just hold on. I'm going to get to that in a minute. What is the relationship between millimeter and meter? Convert ALEKS's table of prefixes. Look for whatever unit you have. We have milli. Milli is 10 to the minus 3. That means 1 millimeter is 10 to the minus 3 meters. This conversion is going to convert one of the millimeter units into a meter unit. We have 3 millimeter units. That means we need to do this conversion 3 times. You can write it out 3 times, which is what I was taught to do when I was taking Gen Chem. Just write the whole thing out 3 times. It is going to save you time if you, instead of writing it out 3 times, you just use the use exponents and just cube this conversion factor. So writing it out 3 times versus just cubing the whole entire thing gives you the same end result. And that is going to cancel those cubic millimeter units, and it's going to convert into meters. Now, our next step in the process, so we've accomplished this step right here. Our next step in the process is to convert from cubic meters into cubic centimeters. So we need another conversion factor. This conversion factor, we're trying to get rid of the meter unit, so we want that down on the bottom so that those meter units will cancel. And we're trying to convert into the centimeter unit, so we want that one up on top. Let's take a look at ALEKS's table of prefixes. We can see that centi is the prefix for 10 to the minus 2. So that means 1 centi of anything is 10 to the minus 2. Now again, we have 3 meter units that we're trying to convert, which means we need this conversion factor to be applied 3 times. 1 for each one. Okay, so now we have done this first step right here. We've done the meter to centimeter conversion right here. Our next step is to convert from centimeters into milliliters, and that is just a 1-to-1 relationship. So that's a really easy conversion factor. 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter. We almost don't even need to write it down, although it doesn't hurt anything to write it down. 1 cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter. This is not going to do anything mathematically to the number. That is just going to switch our units. So that converts the meters or cancels the meters. That's going to cancel out the cubic centimeters. We're going to be left with milliliters. And this is where I'm going to stop because that's where my problem ends. If you have to convert into a different volume unit, if ALEKS wants you to express this in something like liters or deciliters, you're going to need to keep going. You're going to need another conversion factor to get out of milliliters into liters, and you might need another conversion factor again to get out of liters into whatever unit ALEKS is asking for. I don't need to go that far with it, but you might, and you can. You know how to do it. So now we're ready to do all of this math. I already have this number saved in my calculator, so the next thing that I'm going to do is this number right here. I'm going to take my answer and multiply it by 10 to the negative 3, and I want to make sure that I'm including that 3 exponent up there. I got to make sure that that's being included. So we'll do the math on that. That is this step. And now I'm ready for my next step. I'm going to take my answer. I am going to divide it by 10 to the negative 2. And I am going to make sure again that I'm including that variable to the 3. Make sure that that 10 to the negative 2 is being applied 3 times. Now I'm not going to do this math, or maybe I will just because that's fun. And here is our answer, 6.3706. ALEKS says, I'm going to try to get this out of the way, ALEKS wants the answer to 0.1 milliliter, which means that the answer that I'm going to express here is 6.4 milliliters. My 6.37 is going to round to 6.4. Good luck with this problem.